In this episode of Home Theater Geeks, I profile the home theater of Terrence Huntington, the composer of the Home Theater Geeks theme music. So stick around.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hey there, Scott Wilkinson here, the Home Theater Geek. In this episode, I'm going to profile a very special home theater. It was built around 11 years ago by Terrence Huntington, who is the composer of the Home Theater Geeks theme music. So I'm really happy to show you what he did with his home theater. Now, this was back in 2014. I profiled it on AVS Forum, and we'll put a link in the show notes. Some of the articles that are that old have lost their links to the graphics. So that's unfortunate, but we'll show you them right here. Now, at the time, Terrence was living in Grass Valley, California. He has since moved, but I profiled this theater because I thought it was very interesting. He had very little space to work with. He wanted to build a home theater in his house, but the only space he could do it was in his basement, which was pretty small. And you can see in the first photo the basement as it originally was. Difficult to see in context, no people there, but take my word for it, it's pretty small. The first step, he had to remove the support posts. You see the support posts there in the left half of this image, and you might think that they're structural, but amazingly, they're not. He was able to remove them and reinforce the existing beams with what are called wafers. And then Terry and his father got to work with the help of some contractors to do the heavy lifting. As we can see in the next graphic, I think it's his father standing in the room without the beams, and the posts. The beams have been reinforced and the posts are gone, and now he has room for a home theater. Notice also the cinder blocks in the left half of the picture. Those were installed in order to keep dirt from intruding into the home theater. Now you can see in this picture a little bit of the heater system. The next picture will show more of the HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and the water heater, which he had to enclose. Here you can see the framing for that, because the heater gets pretty loud. And so, he wanted it to be quiet in there, obviously, for the home theater. So he enclosed it in a closet with heavy insulation. And he says when the heater's on, or even the AC, it basically sounds like a projector. You'd be hard pressed to hear any hum or rumble. So that was an important thing to do down there, but it also even decreased the space even more. Okay, once we had the framing installed in the next picture, you can see there, oh, look, it's starting to look almost like it could be a home theater. We've got the framing up. We've got the insulation up. You can see that retaining wall there. So everything is looking like it could start to become a home theater. Now, one of the main challenges that Terrence faced was making sure that his JVC projector with a anamorphic lens would fill the screen. It was a 115-inch screen, 2.4 to 1. So it was very widescreen, meant to show movies. The screen was the Carrada Precision fabric, And he said, with no formal plans about it at all, he carefully measured and calculated the throw distance of the projector. And he said he guessed a lot too. And he found that it would work, just barely. Now, to show you how small this space is, here's a picture of Terry standing in the space. He's 6 feet tall, and he just barely clears the ceiling there. So it's a pretty small space, which is why he called it duck and cover. Now, he decided on red carpeting and doors with off-white walls, which is not what I would normally recommend for a home theater. But what he did to counteract that was to put the screen in what's called a black shadow box. And here we can see the black shadow box where the screen is going to be on the far wall. That will definitely make a big difference in the perceived contrast in the image on that screen. So that was a good idea. It reduces reflections from nearby walls and the ceiling. So I have a lot of respect for him for doing that. That was a really good thing. Another problem he said he had was acoustics. I didn't have high hopes for good sound, he said. But with the carpet and the seating installed, the sound totally exceeded his expectations. I was surprised at that too. In fact, the sound was so good, he said, that he disabled the Odyssey room correction that was in his Integra DHC 40.1 preamp processor. Didn't even need to use room correction. That's pretty amazing. I didn't hear the room myself, but I certainly trust him on that. So that was great. A happy coincidence, a happy happenstance, as they say.
Hey, everybody. Leo Laporte here, and I'm going to bug you one more time to join Club TWiT. If you're not already a member, I want to encourage you to support what we do here at TWiT. 25% of our operating costs comes from membership in the club. That's a huge portion, and it's growing all the time. That means we can do more, we can have more fun. You get a lot of benefits, ad-free versions of all the shows. You get access to the Club TWiT Discord and special programming like the keynotes from Apple and Google and Microsoft and others that we don't stream otherwise in public. Please join the club. If you haven't done it yet, we'd love to have you. Find out more at twit.tv/clubtwit. And thank you so much.
The seating includes 3 Salamander Designs Mateo recliners and 2 traditional movie theater chairs on an 8-inch riser as the second row. Now, interestingly, each row has a butt kicker LFE, low frequency effects transducer, which kicks in with the subwoofer on the low frequency stuff. And it's very interesting that Terrence used 1 butt kicker for each row instead of 1 in each seat, which is what is normally done. But in this case, he just put 1 in each row. Personally, I like that because I don't like the intense shaking of the seats during loud, low frequency stuff. So having 1 in the whole row for all 3 seats or 2 seats in the back would be less intense. That would be fine with me. Not necessarily for some bass heads out there, but I thought it was great. The next picture we have is the custom equipment cabinet in the left wall, which includes shelves that leave a 4-inch gap behind them for easy cable accessibility. And this is really important. Some people don't think about this until it's too late. What if you need to replace a component or you want to upgrade a component to a new one? You have to be able to reach the cables in the back. Terrence thought of this, and good for him. The equipment includes an Integra DHC 40.1, as I mentioned before, a surround processor, NAD power amps, an Apple TV streamer, and several game consoles. The speakers were Paradigm Studio 60s for the front, left, center, and right, and Studio 20s for the surround Paradigm is a great speaker manufacturer, and so that was an excellent choice there. The subs included an Epic Tower 15-inch sub and a Shure MBM12 mid-bass module. That's what the MBM stands for, which is paired with the center speaker. So Terrence realized that the center channel is extremely important, carries most of the dialogue, certainly, and a lot of the rest of the soundtrack as well. So he wanted to beef up the bass performance of that center channel speaker. And so he used this Shure MBM12. So, but about a month and a half later, not really very long, and about $20,000 in budget, the theater was complete. Terrence remembers the best moment was when the carpet was finally installed. And working with my dad during the construction was a real joy. I know that feeling very well. I didn't work with my dad on construction, but we did play a lot of music together, and that is some of my happiest family memories, absolutely. And here you can see this theater, which you kind of have to duck to get into, to walk into. But once you're seated, that thing is going to be pretty darn nice. I think it just looks beautiful, and I congratulate Terrence on that theater. Now, he has since moved to a different location, and I hope to catch up with him and find out what he's been doing home theater-wise lately. But I wanted to show you this one because several people have told me that they face a challenge of a small room. And how do you deal with it? Well, Terrence Huntington dealt with it beautifully and not that expensive. He did a lot of the work himself. He says his budget was about $20,000, which certainly ain't chump change, but it's a lot less than people spend on their home theaters often. So I applaud him for what he did with such a small space and what great performance I'm sure he got out of it. This is a perfect example of how that can be done. So congratulations to Terrence. And thank you again for the theme music to Home Theater Geeks. Now, if you have a question for me, you can send it right along to htg@twit.tv, and I'll answer as many as I can right here on the show. And as you know, TWiT now shows all of its programs on YouTube for free, but with ads. If you want to go ad-free, join the club. Go to twit.tv/clubtwit and join today. Until next time, geek out.